Hello friends, and welcome back to Everything Tumbler Tutorials. My name is Rebecca Escott, and if you haven't already, head over to AB Designs Co. for all your tumbler and glitter needs. Their glitters come in many colors, shapes, and glitter sizes for all your tumbler and crafting designs. Hello friends, and welcome. Here's a little sneak peek to the August monthly sub box from BAMF Custom Creations. The sub box will include 10 vinyl 12x12 sheets, 5 sticker cals, and 1 freebie. And of course, I'm going to be using one of these sweet pastel spooky vibes vinyls for my tutorial today. I've chosen the design Poison Brew for this tutorial today, and I've already cut this down to size to fit my cute little 10-ounce shorty. You can find this 10-ounce shorty at AB Designs, and the link will also be down in the description for you below. I don't think these little shorties get the credit that they deserve, but these are perfect for tea time or even an extra large coffee cup. So when sizing my vinyl down for this wrap, I decided to go ahead and make sure that it was precisely the width of the tumbler, so I only had a small overlap so that I didn't have to trim the seam. However, I do need to go ahead and trim up the bottom as well as the top rim. Now you can avoid this bottom step just by placing your vinyl above that factory seam. However, I went ahead and just laid mine all out because I knew that I can get a much cleaner, sharper edge. Anytime you're trimming the rim, it's really imperative to have a nice sharp X-Acto blade to make this job much easier. We have everything nice and cleaned up. We're ready to go ahead and tape off the bottom. I have found using electrical tape works so much better to preventing bleeds versus painter's tape. So I'm going to do one nice strip down here at the bottom. And then I'm going to go ahead to protect the rest of the tumbler and use the actual backing that came off this pattern vinyl. Once I have everything nice and taped off, I prefer to use the spray paint, and I am going to use aromatherapy from Color Shot to paint the bottom of this tumbler. By now you've probably heard plenty about Color Shot, but the truth is this stuff is great and it dries very, very fast. So once I have this spray painted, I'm going to immediately remove all the tape and the protective coating, and I'm going to go ahead and let this dry for a good half hour to 45 minutes. So once everything was nice and dry, I went in with the UV resin mixed in with Wisteria from AB Designs. Now I realized that quickly that I was not recording, so I went ahead and yes, I wiped it all off so that I could show you guys on camera exactly what I did. So I just poured a little UV resin into my measuring cup and I added a little bit of Wisteria at a time because you don't want this too thick and chunky or it's just gonna get gluey like. So you wanna just add a little bit of glitter at a time and just have the right consistency. Keep in mind UV resin is not self-leveling, so it's really important that when you put this on, you kind of help it out and get it over the bottom of the end of the tumbler where you want it, and then make sure that when you get ready to do the UV light, that again, that your tumbler is in a nice solid flat spot just to keep everything nice and leveled out. Once I had this here at the bottom exactly the way that I wanted it, I'm going to go ahead and put up my makeshift boxes and whatnot and set the UV lamp over this for I think about 5 or 6 minutes until this was no longer tacky and it was fully cured. Once this was fully cured, I did go ahead and epoxy the entire tumbler using Fast Set from Counterculture DIY. So once our initial coat was fully cured, I wanted to show you up close just how flawless this seam is already in itself. But I decided to go ahead, since this is a seamless tumbler, I wanted to place this perfect decal right over the seam. This is one of 5 decals that will come in the August sub box from BAMF Custom Creations. Once you have this in place, go ahead and use the velvet side of your squeegee just to really rub things out and make sure you don't have any air pockets and or wrinkles. Once your decal is in place, we're ready to go ahead and apply what should be your last and final coat of epoxy. Now you can either stop here, or in my case, I decided to move on and I wanted to go ahead and rhinestone the bottom. So it is not recommended to use hot fix rhinestones for your tumbler. However, I don't always follow the rules. But I am going to be using Liquid Fusion Heavy Duty that I got from Amazon to apply the rhinestones, because for all intents, tutorial purposes, applying the rhinestones is exactly the same method, whether they're flat backs and or hot fix. Except with the hot fix, I needed to add more glue just to really secure them in. You'll notice I just used a paintbrush to paint on the Liquid Fusion, keeping it from getting lumpy and clumpy as it dried along the way. So you really want to have control over how much you apply at one time so that it doesn't dry before you get there. If you notice that a rhinestone doesn't stick, that just means that you need to go ahead and stop there and apply a little bit more Liquid Fusion to keep going. And then you just go around the entire tumbler, or in this case, the bottom rim, as much or as less as you'd like, using fillers, which I did need to use. These were regular flat backs as little fillers, and they're much tinier. I don't know the exact size, but I just used them to fill in anywhere that I needed to, which gave it a cute little accent at the bottom. I want to point out that this was a lot of fun, but I am not a rhinestone professional by any means of the imagination. But I definitely had a lot of fun, and I do want to make it clear though that when you apply that very first row, just step back and allow it to fully dry before moving on, as that sets the stage for the rest of the rhinestones to follow. Once this was completed, I allowed this to completely dry for 5 days. 5 days only because I used the hot fix rhinestones instead of the original or regular flat backs. So I really wanted this to be fully dry before taking it in and giving a good washing and removing any of the residue from the Liquid Fusion glue. So again, just don't beat me up in the comments about having used the hot fix. Just make sure when you order yours, which I had purchased mine from Amazon, that you make sure that you're buying the correct rhinestones. With that said, these were just so pretty, and I wanted to go ahead and use them again for tutorial purposes. But I think the next time I do this, I actually want to use like a variety pack of different sizes, because I really like the way that that looks as an end result. With that said, this tutorial is complete. That's it. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if so, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials coming soon.